at the very beginning of this episode of Baddies USA, Zeus tried to do something a little bit different and kind of be like Bad Girls Club, where they show an opening fight. They show the craziest fight of the season at the very beginning of the episode, so you know what to look forward to later on in the season. And the fight that they showed at the very beginning of this episode was Lex and Summer. We know that the big three had fallen out with each other. Summer ended up getting her family and friends to attack both Dolly and Summer when they were in Detroit. And then we know that recently Summer was making all these accusations against Big Lex, saying that Big Lex went down on her and all this stuff like that. So I'm assuming that that's what the fight between Big Lex and Summer was about. I will say this fight between Lex and Summer was hard to watch because Big Lex was just beating on Summer, and you can tell that it was because she felt hurt and betrayed by Summer, because I think she really liked Summer and she really felt like they had a genuine friendship. And then Summer sat there and she was talking about her behind her back, getting her family and friends to attack her, and that's probably something she didn't expect Summer to do to her. So that's the reason why she was so angry when she was fighting Summer. But that fight was brutal, and I honestly feel like security should have tried to break it up, but they didn't. And it's giving that security does not like Summer, because this same thing happened when Ivory was beating on Summer last season. Like, I think it was like the first or second episode. Ivory was beating on Summer, like beating her down to the ground, and security did not break it up to where Big Lex had to run over there and make security break it up. So it's giving that security does not like Summer. But then we cut to the real opening scene, which is Natalie walking onto the rooftop, and she's waiting for the bad girls to arrive, because we know throughout the season some of the bad girls have been on the show, and they all end up showing up to meet with Natalie on the rooftop. And all I have to say is they were definitely eating when they came off the buses and were walking onto the rooftop. All the bad girls looked great even after all these years, and I loved seeing them on the show. However, they disappointed me with the way that they were acting, because as soon as they showed up, Natalie was sitting down and she told them to sit so that they can all have a conversation, and Sway immediately started going off on Natalie because she felt like Natalie was being rude when she told them to sit so that they can all talk. I know a lot of y'all do not like Natalie, but you can't say that she was being rude in this situation, because I really didn't feel like she was. She was just telling them to sit down so that they can all have a conversation. Sway looked like she just wanted to have a moment, and she started flipping out and started really going off on Natalie. She was being pretty aggressive, and I didn't understand why she was acting that way. That's why I'm saying it seemed like she was looking for a moment, because I feel like she's the one who made things escalate to where it went to, and then she had the audacity to start crying when everybody started fighting, when she's the one who started getting everybody riled up because of the way that she walked in going off on Natalie. So then Bree ends up trying to check Natalie, and she tells Natalie that she wants to fight her because Natalie hurt her about the baddie shot o'clock thing, because people are saying that Bree started baddie shot o'clock because there's a video of her saying it on Baddie South, but Natalie claims that there was a time where it was said before Bree even said it. So I don't know who's telling the truth about the baddie shot o'clock thing. All I know is that Natalie's already making money off it. There's really nothing that Bree can do about it now, so fighting over it to me just doesn't make any sense. But what I will say is I do like Bree, and I like that she's never afraid to defend herself or stand up for herself. That's one of the things that I liked about her when she was on the Bad Girls Club, is because she didn't let people disrespect her. She definitely fought and defended herself all the time. Janelle and Seven, they were kind of keeping it cool and cute in the background, which I liked because they didn't come in there doing too much. I definitely felt like the bad girls should have held themselves to a better standard. I do feel that way. I know some people might disagree with me, but I just wish that they would have been able to meet up with each other and nobody fight the first time that they met up. I just feel like they should have waited until they got to the dinner later on in the episode to do all that. I felt like the first initial meeting, I felt like they should have kept it cute. I'm not gonna lie, I was honestly surprised to see Sarah and Judy there. I like both of them. I think they brought a lot of entertainment to their seasons of the Bad Girls Club, and they're definitely iconic, but all the stuff that they talked negatively about Natalie and Zeus, I'm honestly surprised that they came back on the show. But Bree was telling Natalie that she wanted to fight her because she was hurt, and Natalie said that they can talk about it, but she doesn't want to fight her, and she said that she was not fighting her. I know people were saying that Natalie was being scary, and maybe she was being scary, but at the end of the day, it's her show, so unless you're gonna sneak her, you're not gonna fight Natalie unless she wants to get up and fight you, just like what happened with Diamond at the reunion. But then Tanisha walks in, and all the bad girls run up to her and give her a really big hug, because obviously the girls really like Tanisha, and Natalie ends up getting up and she walks away, and she gets into the elevator and says that she's leaving. Now Camila does go in there and try to ask Natalie why she was leaving, and she asked her if it was because of Tanisha, and she said that She left because she told production specifically that she wanted to talk to Tanisha after she finished talking to the other bad girls, but she wanted to get the conversations done with them first and then bring Tanisha in at the end, and that's not what they ended up doing, which is why a lot of people say that Natalie doesn't really have control of her show, because if she said that she wanted to talk to Tanisha at the end and they brought her in at the beginning, that means that they do what they want to do and not what Natalie tells them to. I know some people were saying that they believe that Natalie was jealous because of all the love that Tanisha got from the other bad girls when she showed up, and that could potentially be true. I don't know, because Tanisha was saying in her confessional that she thought her and Natalie were cool with each other right before she showed up. Now, Lo, Jayla, and Kat were also there because obviously they were on a season of Baddies as well, and they're really close friends with Natalie outside of the show, so they were deciding that they were going to go check on Natalie, but as soon as they went downstairs, production told them that Natalie had already drove off and left, which I think is crazy. I don't feel like Natalie should have left. I think she should have stayed there because that messed up the whole moment for the Bad Girls reunion thing. I just felt like Natalie should have stayed. But Lo is standing there with her hands on her hips, standing next to production, and Bree stands up and she asks Lo what she was waiting for, because I guess she thought that Lo was standing there like that because she wanted to fight her, and Lo told her that she was not trying to fight her, but that production was trying to put a mic on her. So when Sway starts asking Lo what's the issue between her and Bree, Lo said that she has Natalie's back because that's her friend outside of the show, and so if anything was to go down, she was going to have Natalie's back, but she said that because Natalie left, that wasn't going to be necessary, and she felt like Bree was trying to get a moment off of her. Now, I don't really feel like Bree needed to get a moment off of Lo because she was already going back and forth with Natalie, so I don't think Lo would be the person for her to get a moment off of, especially on the show Baddies. I just don't feel like Lo would be the person that she would go after if she was trying to get a moment. However, I did not think it was necessary for Lo and Bree to fight. Like, the issue wasn't even between the two of them. Bree's issue was with Natalie, and Natalie left, so I don't think it was necessary for her to start pressing Lo. So Bree starts telling Lo that she wants to fight, and she walks up on Lo, and she starts swinging on Lo, and Lo ends up falling back in the chair, and she's kicking Bree, so Bree didn't get to touch her after they were standing up and swinging on each other. So I will give the win to Bree because she did catch Lo, but I will say that once Lo fell on the couch, she was kicking, so Bree wasn't really able to even touch her after that. But when Bree was being held by security, Kat did snatch her wig off her head. Bree was saying that she got jumped, but I don't feel like she got jumped. Now, if you think she got jumped, you're gonna have to show me where that happened, but I didn't see two people jumping on her at the same time. So personally, for me, I don't feel like she got jumped, but I don't think that it was necessary for Kat to snatch the wig off of Bree's head or hit her, whatever she did. I don't think it was necessary because it was one-on-one. I'm sorry, but Sway really threw me off when she started crying about the girls fighting, because like I said at the beginning of my review, I felt like Sway was the one who came in with the negative energy when she was coming at Natalie the way that she was coming at her, and that kind of caused a lot of other people to start going off too. So I was surprised that she was crying. But I will say I do agree with Tanisha that the bad girls should have not came into the room fighting with each other. There would have been a time and a place for them to fight with each other, but I felt like they should have came in on their bad bitch shit, and I feel like they shouldn't have fought at all. They could have had some dialogue with each other, maybe argued a little bit, but the fighting and all that, I think it was unnecessary. Now, because Natalie ended up leaving and there was a fight between Lo and Bree, they decided to send the bad girls home, which I feel like they really wasted their time there because we didn't even really get to see them like that. I wish they wouldn't have fought the way that they did because I wanted to see more of them in this episode, and we really didn't get much. But then Mariahlynn, Tinkerbella, and Biggie end up meeting up with each other, and they start having a conversation, and Tinkerbella ends up asking Biggie who she has beef with, and Biggie says that she and Ahna were beefing with each other about Ahna saying that she got jumped at the reunion, and Biggie just stood there. Biggie said that Ahna did not get jumped. Now, I agree with Biggie. Ahna definitely did not get jumped, but Biggie was standing in the corner, and when your friend's out there fighting and there's a lot of people trying to fight her, I definitely feel like Biggie should have got in the field and had Ahna's back. But I will say I do agree, I did not see Ahna get jumped at that reunion. But I will say I do like how Ahna and Biggie handled the situation, because Ahna didn't want to fight with Biggie. She told Biggie that she feels like they don't need to be beefing over anything petty that was in the past. She feels like they can move forward because there's a lot of other girls on the show that they have to deal with, and they don't want to be beefing with each other. And I completely agree with that. I feel like there's other girls they're going to have to fight and beef with. Beefing with each other over something petty is not something they need to do. Tinka did ask, Tasiki how she felt about Krishan being on the show, and Tasiki said that she appreciates Krishan apologizing to her in private in front of their family, but she feels like because, Krishan made allegations against her publicly and humiliated her publicly, she feels like she should apologize in front of everybody publicly. And I understand where she's coming from, because don't apologize to me in private when the disrespect was public. Now, I don't know if Krishan was telling the truth about Tasiki because I'm not in their family. I don't know what happened, so I don't know if it did or didn't happen. But if Taseki's saying that Krishan apologized for it in private, I definitely do understand why she would want one publicly too. Now Lex and Summer are together talking on the couch, and then Dolly ends up walking in with Sukiyana because we know that Suki is a part of this season, and she sits down and she has a conversation with them, and Dolly ends up asking Summer if she's ready to deal with whatever she would have to deal with Taseki, because Krishan's also going to be there too, and she kind of got involved in their business talking about it on social media. And Summer basically said that she didn't care, that she'll deal with whatever she has to deal with when it comes to Taseki, that she's not backing down and she's not afraid. She said that the only reason why she even got involved in Taseki and Krishan's business is because there was a clip going around of, you know, her swearing in front of kids, and Taseki made a face like she was kind of disgusted that, you know, Summer was talking that way in front of children. So that's when Summer made a comment that she's looking at her that way because she's swearing in front of kids, but she allegedly did something to Krishan. Like, that's what Summer was saying online. So obviously Taseki has an issue with that, and you know, Summer knows that she's probably going to have to deal with that with Taseki, especially because coming into this season, Taseki and Krishan made up. Suki was right though when she told, you know, Summer that she should have minded her business and that she knows that she can't beat Taseki. We know that Summer can't beat Taseki. We just know that she's crazy enough to fight her anyway, because Summer won't back down even if she knows that she's going to lose. I think that's one of the things that people respect about her. Even if people don't like her, they respect the fact that she'll fight even if she knows that she can't beat the person. But I do agree with Suki that, you know, she should have minded her business when it came to the situation between Krishan and Taseki. And I'm not saying that she should have minded her business because people are afraid of the two girls. I just feel like when it comes to family issues that you know nothing about and that you weren't there for, I feel like you have to stay out of it and mind your business and let it play out on its own instead of getting involved. And a lot of the time, Summer's mouth gets her in trouble all the time. Now, Scotty, Rolly, Sapphire, Tommy, Krishan, and DJ Sky end up meeting up. And Scotty tells them that she's pregnant and she's due in April. I'm very happy for Scotty, even if things don't work out between her and Lemmy at some point. I am happy for her because she was saying that she wanted to have a baby and she wanted to be a mother. So I am happy for her. I will say that it wasn't a surprise to me that she was pregnant because Tommy already said that somebody on the cast was pregnant while they were at the very beginning stages of filming. And so she kind of gave it away because who else on the cast is pregnant besides Scotty? Like, as soon as she made that comment, everybody immediately started saying Scotty. I will say that I thought it was funny when Scotty said what name she was thinking about, if she was having a boy or a girl, and Tommy's reaction to the boy's name kind of cracked me up a little bit. But I love the girl's name that she came up with. She said that if she had a girl, she might name her Iceland, and I love that because her name is Scotland. I just think it's really cute and unique. Now, Natalie ends up inviting all the baddies to a group dinner, which we know they probably aren't going to eat. I mean, I didn't see any food when they walked in, but Kold Killa, Tavy, and Fauna ended up walking in together, which I thought was crazy because we know that Tavy kind of forced her way into the Pretty Three because we know that they were not rocking with her at the very beginning of last season, and she wasn't rocking with them either, but she was a flip-flopper. As soon as she didn't fit in with the girl she wanted to fit in with, she ran right in with them, and we know that they've been beefing throughout the season. They only clicked up with each other because they had a common enemy. They were doing the enemy of my enemy is my friend, which is never a genuine friendship when you meet up and you link up that type of way. It was because they all didn't like the big three, and that's the reason why they became a clique, but we see that it's falling apart because we see them beefing on social media. But then Smiley, Nuno, and Gretchen end up showing up next, and Fauna immediately starts tying up her hair, and then she puts a different wig over the cap that she puts over her head, and then she slaps a hat on, and I felt like she was being very prepared this season because they like to rip off wigs, throw them in fire, do all that extra shit, so I can understand why she was being prepared. Now, Tinka and Mariahlynn end up showing up, and Tinkerbella immediately calls out Kold Killa for a fight. They're beefing over a song when the song is from neither one of them. I think they sampled another artist's song and made their own versions of it, so I feel like them beefing over that to me is stupid, but I'm glad they got it over with in this first episode because to me, their fights were lame. The first round they did, neither one of them really did anything. They were swinging on each other, but neither one of them were really doing much, and so I would say the first round was a tie, and I felt like they didn't need to fight a second round, but they ended up fighting one anyway. The second round, Killa was definitely swinging more than, you know, Tinka was, but I felt like her hands were open when she was swinging, so whatever hit she did land on Tinkerbella, I don't feel like it hurt at all because her hands were open. So then Krishan and DJ Sky walk in while Tinkerbella is going off trying to fight Kold Killa, and Krishan starts asking them why they're fighting, and they decide that they're gonna fight again. And this time they were swinging at each other, but neither one of them were touching each other when they were swinging because they were swinging and backing up, so I just felt like their fights were completely pointless. I do feel like Tinkerbella thought that fighting Kold Killa was going to be an easy win, but it really wasn't because in my opinion, neither one of them can really fight, so I just felt like their fights were kind of boring and pointless to do. But then Dolly, Summer, and Lex end up showing up, and Summer's first to walk in. And as soon as she walks in, Summer runs at her like a bat out of hell. Like, she runs so fast and snatches up Summer really quickly. To me, she didn't really do anything to Summer. People were posting online that, you know, Mariahlynn tore Summer, but she wasn't really hitting her. She was just pulling her wig, and then Summer pulled her wig back. To me, they weren't really fighting like that. So to say that Mariahlynn tore Summer, I just don't feel like she did. I feel like people need to learn to slow down the fights, and you'll see that all they did was pull each other's wigs. The reason why the two of them are beefing with each other is because at the Baddies Midwest audition, Summer said that Mariahlynn said that she would give her a ticket, but Summer didn't end up getting a ticket. So when she saw Mariahlynn in the hallway, she snuck her, and then Mariahlynn wasn't put on that season or Baddies Africa, so she never got the chance to run her fade with Summer. So that's the reason why when Summer walked in, she immediately ran at her. But then Ahna and Tasiki end up walking in, and Gretchen immediately runs at Ahna and she starts yelling at her, and I don't understand why they were beefing, because I didn't know the two of them had an issue with each other. And you know, Ahna seemed taken aback too, because she didn't think that her and Gretchen had a problem. But Gretchen says that Ahna was talking about her on social media, and I can kind of believe that, because Ahna does talk a lot of shit on social media, and sometimes I can't keep up with the amount of people she's beefing with, but I never seen anything between her and Gretchen. So they're arguing with each other, and Ahna's saying that she doesn't have a problem with Gretchen, but because Gretchen keeps coming at her and yelling, she ends up reaching over and popping Gretchen right in the face. Which, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was kind of funny. Gretchen and Ahna do fight really quickly, and it looked like, you know, Ahna had Gretchen swimming a little bit, because Gretchen had her hair down and her hair was swinging all in her face, so she couldn't even see what she was doing when she was trying to fight Ahna. It was really a quick fight, so neither one of them won that, but I will give it to Ahna because I felt like she was overpowering Gretchen. But when that was broken up, Gretchen ran at Ahna and tried to grab her by the face, and she ended up grabbing onto Tasiki's hair while she was doing that, and so Tasiki tried to push her, but security was holding Gretchen, so she couldn't push her, and Gretchen said that she accidentally pulled, you know, Tasiki's hair. She didn't mean to, and I believe her when she said it was an accident, because I don't think that Gretchen wants to fight Tasiki. I just don't think that she wants to, because Tasiki will literally break her in half. I cannot believe that Ahna ran up on that table and started stomping on Gretchen real quick though. She claims that it's because Gretchen bit her finger, but Gretchen's saying that she never bit Ahna's finger. But I'm not gonna lie, I really thought that was crazy how Ahna ran up on the table like that and started kicking Gretchen. I thought that was crazy. But all of a sudden, Biggie starts yelling, a bunch of fights break out, and I think Smiley runs up on Biggie out of nowhere and they start fighting with each other. Things got crazy at the end. I hope with the editing they're able to slow things down so we can see each fight, because a lot of fights broke out. I will say this was a very eventful episode of Baddies USA. It was crazy. I thought it was entertaining, but a lot was going on at once, so I'm interested to see what happens in next week's episode. Let me know what you guys thought about this video down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.